Do you
on the beat.
Bella!
Ice up, son. What's up? Ice up, son. What's up? Carolina, keep pounding. Carolina, keep pounding. The Panthers on the prowl will continue driving down the field to the red zone. We just got a first down and 10. Smitty on the loose, wide open Ted again. Stack 6 more on the board, looking like a win. With the 6-game winning streak, put them out their misery. Brady wanna cry when the ref threw the penalty. Panthers got a hot team, Patriots the enemy. Draw the first blood, different team than we used to be. Cam swerving through the traffic, signaling a first down. Fans on their feet and the crowd getting really loud. Offense did a job off the field, there's the towel. Bank of America, stadium is going down. Defense got him pushed back to the end zone. Hardy with the sack, that's a safety and we got the ball. Rushing on your shotgun, staring at the barrel, y'all. All New England fans hear him saying that ain't fair at all. Ice up, son, what's up? Ice up, son, what's up? Carolina, keep pounding. Carolina, keep pounding, pounding. Ice up, son, what's up? Ice up, son, what's up? Carolina, keep pounding. Carolina, keep pounding. Better watch the linebacker, he can read you like a book. Run 40 yards just to tackle Luke. Got him shook, Tobert like a tank. And D'Angelo with the fake. Stiff arm, out of bounds, 25 to game. Stewart back, healthy 3 lethal running backs. It's suicide, add the wide receivers, it's a rout. Secret weapon, make plays, Greg Olsen make it happen. Keep pounding on these haters, we ain't playing John Madden. Legion of the Hood, hometown goes boom. Force and fumbles, Panthers making sure the ball is loose. Jack move, Charles Johnson, yeah, he will come attack you. State of mind, mentally and physically, we pass you. Godfrey in the nickel back, and he making sure we're safe. Panthers on the prowl, we gon' come and elevate the state. Hard fall thriller, only 59 seconds left. Panther fans on the feet, heart beating out the chest. Ice up, son, what's up? Ice up, son, what's up? Carolina, keep pounding. Carolina, keep pounding. Ice up, son, what's up? Ice up, son, what's up? Carolina, keep pounding. Carolina, keep pounding. Ice up, son, what's up? Ice up, son, what's up? Carolina, keep pounding. Carolina, keep pounding. Ice up, son, what's up? Ice up, son, Carolina, keep pounding. Carolina, keep
What is up? We are live for our last and final mock draft stream before the 2025 NFL Draft. Hit that like button, hit that sub button, hit that bell, select all, leave a comment down below if you feel like doing so, and don't forget to check out our Facebook group page. Keep pounding in all caps for in-game post polls, opinions, and reactions to NFL news, such as scheduling for the channel and for the Yahoo Sports app. Keep pounding Fantasy Football League. If you want to get your hands on an intro like this, if you're a content creator, go check out Lindara Tai. Using her last name first, Tai, T-A-I dot Lindara, Lindara. In the search bar on Instagram, if you want videos, panels, etc. If you're a content creator, Go check her out. Tell her we sent you. And we gonna light it up with the content. Go check her out though, man. Go check her out. She's awesome. Fair prices. And just so cool. Very cool to work with. Linda Artai on Instagram. Alrighty. It is time for the finale for the mock draft streams. Let me get a keep pounding in chat. Let's go, baby. I'm hyped. We got work to do. But, you know what? End of the day, all of this work is going to culminate into something successful. I guarantee it. I got a feeling about this draft, guys. I got a feeling. I'm excited. I'm ready. I feel ready. Do you guys feel ready? I feel ready. I absolutely feel ready. This is going to be the one that's going to make us or break us. It's either going to put us on the map or it's going to bury us if we screw it up. And I'm telling you this right now. We cannot afford to screw this up. Dan, Dave, hear what I'm telling you. We cannot afford to screw this up. It will bury us for the next 4 to 5 years. But if we succeed, to the victor goes the spoils. And we could easily become that victor. We could. But it comes down to you, Dan and Dave. Excuse me, I've had a long, busy day. But I'm here. I'm ready. I'm ready to rock and roll. And I'll tell you this. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling confident that Dan and Dave will get the job done. I'm feeling very confident. So much that I'm willing to bank on the fact that we fulfill all our needs. That we set out to accomplish this year. I'm willing to bank on that. Alright. Let's get it going. Now, the latest news is this. There's an article. Cassidy Hill, once again, excellent writer, displaying her knowledge of this team once again and saying that Xavier Legette learned to keep his mouth shut and not to let the information spill. Now, it is so tempting, man. It's so tempting. I know people want to say, oh, this player might get drafted. There's a humongous chance of it. Blah, 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 blah. You know, Panthers insider say blah, 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 blah. Don't do it, bro. Don't do it. Don't do it. We got the Saints sitting right behind us. Don't be a fool. We got other teams that try to steal people's picks too. Don't do it. I told you, the scouts are out there, Matt, and they're ravenous, hungry wolves. They look for any type of table scrap, man, that they can use against you. They will take it to their franchise and they will use it against you. Do not let them do it. Why do you think that me and my team are so careful about what we say and what we put out there every year? Why do you think our mock drafts are so predictable? There's a reason for it. We're not putting out the real stuff. I've been trying to tell you that for months. For months. But that's not up to me. Y'all didn't believe it. Y'all didn't want to believe it. Alright. Cool. Oh, let's deviate and make like 50 different mock drafts because going with the same one is boring. There's a reason for the madness, okay? I mean, for all due respect to every streamer that's saying that, you know, there's a reason for my madness and my reason of doing things. I don't just stick to a formula for a reason. I do it because I know these scouts are out there looking for this stuff. And it's not new. They were out there last year. They were out there the year before. They were out there how many more years before that? This is not new. Okay, you guys know this. Okay? How do you think that we managed to get Xavier Legette? Because we found out that the next team was about to draft them. Anybody want to take a guess who that was? Take a guess. That's why we moved up. You know, bottom of the first round. There were 3 teams that could have taken him. But only one of them was credible. Guess where we got that information from? It didn't come from the random Wizarding World of Harry Potter. I can tell you that. It came from scouts. Scouts. This is why you need to be careful. Panthers management. Dan and Dave, you guys already know this lesson. You don't need to hear this again. You're aware of it. Players, I'm talking to you. And I'm especially talking to the offensive coordinator who is not being put behind a camera and a mic. That almost botched it last year. Yeah. I'm talking to y'all. Don't screw this up. There's a reason why we have the processes in place that we do. There's a reason why there's media training. You know? I understand it's exciting. I understand these guys are being serious, you know, and they really are pushing for a certain player when you meet with them a certain amount of time, sure. You know, the players know exactly what to look for as far as how to know that they're being serious about you. But once they figure it out, they cannot speak on it. You know what I'm saying? They can't speak on it. So, when things get crazy in these mock drafts, I want y'all to remember all of us are lying. Because none of us know what's going to happen on draft weekend. None of us. We can take guesses, we can take educated guesses, but at the end of the day, none of us know. I will say this, you know, my team has been right on Brady Christensen, Cade Mays, and a couple of other players. Did we get lucky? Maybe. Was it educated? Maybe. I like to think so. I like to think it came from educated research and a ton of mock drafts and learning from these players, who they are. But who knows, right? Once you get to draft weekend, everything changes. Everything you thought you knew in these mocks goes up in smoke. I've been trying to warn people about this every year. I've said it multiple times on multiple different streams in multiple different ways. And it's not my fault if you get mad because your player doesn't get picked. Okay? Don't put the blame on me. You know what I'm saying? Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm not the reason your player didn't get picked up, guys. These streamers are not the reason your player did not get picked. As for the streamers themselves, they get pissed off because their player didn't get picked. Okay. I'll own it. I'm one of them. But the thing is, like, there's a difference. When you put in as much work as we do as streamers, you know, for X amount of months, you know, researching every single spot on every stat sheet, you know, crossing every T, dotting every I. Yeah, you're gonna be pissed off when your player doesn't get picked. You're gonna be pissed off. There's just no other way around it. It's the draft. It's how that works. Like, name me another year or another situation where that doesn't happen. You know? So, the thing is, just own it. You know? Own it for what it is. You know? If your player doesn't get picked, own it. You know? You can get pissed off, you can get frustrated all you want. End of the day, last year. You want that to all go up in smoke just because, oh, I want the player that I want. You know, no. No, sorry. You know why I do post-draft streams? You know why I do post-draft videos? It's because I recognize this. I recognize that I'm a human being. I get things wrong. You know, I recognize that I am a person. I'm a fan. I don't run the franchise. So at the end of the day, am I going to get stuff wrong? Absolutely. So what do you do when you get stuff wrong? Look at what they drafted. Learn from it. And understand why they picked those players. You know what I'm saying? You see what I mean? Learn from it. Use that info. And get better from it. You know? I said last year I was not going to get pissed off during draft weekend. And you know what? I'm not going to be able to uphold that promise. Or any other year. I'm not going to be able to uphold that. You know why I'm not? It's because, again, when you put in months and months of research, crossing the T's, dotting the I's, it's going to happen, bro. You're going to get pissed off that they don't pick your player. You're going to get frustrated. You're going to see all these players go off the board, and you're going to go, woe is me, woe is me, woe is me. Why do we pick this player at da-da-da-da-da, you know what I mean? Like, we're idiots if we don't do X, Y, Z, you know what I mean? You know? And you're going to hear that from so many different streamers over the next few days. Including myself. I'll be the first to admit. I do that. I'm not afraid to admit it. I man up and I admit that I do it. I own my bull crap. You know? How many other streamers could say that? But I'll tell you this. The ones that do, y'all are real ones. Y'all are real ones because you're trying to learn. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to understand why this team is doing what they do. And that's progress, my friends. That's basically saying, yeah, I'm ready to learn. I move forward. I'm ready to watch this team do what they do. That's maturity right there. You know, and I respect that. I respect that. And I will always vouch for any streamer that does that during draft weekend. But yeah, these players, you know, you got to understand there's certain protocols you got to follow. You can't be throwing out stuff out there and just saying whatever you want. Okay. What other news? Mason Graham can be dominant in many ways. Yeah, we already know this. Guys, that's not rocket science. Okay? We already knew this. This is the time of the month for the draft where everybody goes into overdrive. And they think, oh yeah, well, my news article is better than this person's news article, you know, that I covered. And blah, 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 blah. I'm making X amount of dollars more than he is, blah, 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 or she is. You know, it's like, come on. You know, it's like watching a freaking Survivor on CBS at this point. You know, nobody cares. You know, point is, did you get your message across? You know what I mean? That's what. Honestly, at the end of the day, did you get your message across? This stream brought to you by Krispy Kreme, by the way. I'm just kidding. I have no sponsorship. I wish, dude. Krispy Kreme, please sponsor me. I would love it. We were doing Victory Mondays with Krispy Kreme donuts at one point. So why not? Oh, man. Defensive line. Struggling Rebel. Proving himself yet again. Okay. East Carolina corner, but he had an ACL tear. Are there currently any pressers or anything that I need to look at? Is there anything I need to be aware of? Best case scenario. Weekend Warrior. Okay. Are the Carolina Panthers too high on Jalon Walker? Ooh. Are we? Legitimate question, Panthers fans. Are we? I mean, I'm not going to be that, I'm not going to be that guy. But somebody's got to start the chain, man. Somebody's got to start the chain here and be like, why are we so high on Jalon Walker? You know what I mean? Somebody's got to start asking the big questions. And it occurred to me today when I was watching Unk's stream, and I was just kind of sitting back working a little bit. And the thought hit me. Because they were trying to have the debate of, Tyler Warren getting drafted by the Panthers. Obviously. Unk's been really high on that train, for this very special tight end. The two thoughts occurred to me. One, we shouldn't be debating whether this tight end is legitimate or not. What we should be debating is whether we should take him at 8. You know what I'm saying? And what happens if we don't? And the second thought occurred to me is, because this whole conversation went into inevitably Bryce Young. Because most of these streams inevitably end up on that topic. It's just the favorite topic of every stream. Except for ours, really. And everybody had an argument of why we should take this very special tight end. But for a month and a half, no one has made the argument of why we should be taking John Walker in the past 2 weeks that I have noticed. No one has really said anything really very strongly to convince us all that John Walker is the pick. Other than, yeah, he's a strong defensive tackle. Yeah, he could stop the run. Yes, he plays the 3-4. Okay, yeah, the basics. But I want some of these streamers to go into detail about why we should pick John Walker. Detail. And so far, only C3 has been able to do that successfully. Shout out to C3 on that one. Because they're always on point. They always dive deep. And they always find all the hidden gems that there are to find. I'm very impressed with the C3 panel, and I met them in person. Amazing people. Very intelligent folks. And I don't recall exactly what was said, but the point is, whenever you're saying, let's do a mock draft of da 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 da, you know, it's always, yeah, John Walker, front of the gate. Then what? You know? Then you start getting into more detail about the rest of these players and why we should pick them. But where are the details about John Walker? I saw that question pop up in my brain, man, during that entire stream, and I've said, wait a minute. Wait one freaking minute. Because, yeah, I'm on board the Walker train as well. I do think that we should draft Walker. But, y'all have heard my reasons. Yeah, I waited out pretty bare bones for you. You know, and I never got into details either. I'll be the first one to call myself a hypocrite on this one. Because I never got into the details of why this player should be hyped up. And it's a totally different reasoning than everybody else has. Naturally, because it's me. I've always been out of the box and always throwing stuff out there that nobody else has been agreeing to and considers ostracized. So, this is not new. If you know me from before I started YouTube, you know this is not new. This was way back when I was doing comments on everybody's pages. Still ostracized today. Even with 500 subs right now and 13,000 members on Facebook. Let's go! I love each and every one of you. By the way, thank you. It's an honor. Tipping my cap in your honor. But you know, it takes a community to make this channel and this page work, man. And we are the ostracized voices, man. We're the ones that nobody wants to listen to. And when you put us together in the same room and we start agreeing on stuff, and it's crazy because we know what we're talking about because we've been to these practices, we've been to these training camps, we've done the homework. You know what I'm saying? We've learned who these players are. And I'm not saying that we're totally right. We could be wrong. There are a lot of cases where we're wrong. But it's interesting how many times we've been ostracized and ignored by the Panthers community, the fan base. Not the management, but the fan base itself. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the crazy thing is, when we turn out to be right, isn't that interesting? We've been preaching on this stuff for months. Where you guys been? You know? And it's not an ego thing. It's more of a, oh, the light bulb turned on. You know? That's what it is. Because we're trying to educate people, man. We're trying to show them, you know, this is what we know. This is what we learned. So, for anybody that thinks that's an ego thing, I could see where that would be construed the other way. Absolutely. But, you know, my whole thing is, what did we learn from it? You know what I'm saying? What did we learn from it? And some of these people don't learn. They stick to what they know, and then they put up a brick wall and they say, yeah, I'm sticking to my guns, this is what I believe, you know, and I'm not willing to hear anything else. And that is what makes us the most divided fan base out there. It's not ego, it's we're stuck in our own box, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've noticed that so many times when I've been speaking to people and having football debates with people. Like, and it's not like politics at all. You know, politics is the same thing except on a 50 times greater scale and way more important right now. But I'm not going to get into that. But the point is, that's what it feels like. Tell me I'm wrong. You know? Like, do y'all feel the same way as I do about it? Because it's gotten worse, guys. God, it's gotten worse. And I love this fan base, man. I do. There's so many good people in this fan base. But it drives me absolutely nuts to watch us go divided on so many things that are important to this franchise's history and success of this franchise. And then just brush it under the rug like it never happened. You know? Oh, we have a successful season like 2015. All that division goes and frustrations and, oh, you said this, you said that, blah, 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 blah. That's BS, that's garbage. You know? That gets swept under the rug when we have a successful season. And then when we have a bad season, it's right back to it. It goes right back to it. And I'm like, to a certain extent, I get it. It's football. You know what I mean? But y'all gotta understand where I'm coming from on this, man. Because, good Lord, it's frustrating. Let's see. Panthers wire post. Could the Panthers soon have a chance to trade for Bryce Young's favorite college wide receiver? Who is your favorite college wide receiver? Who is this? Let's see. Jameson Williams. Top target for the quarterback. Now, we do know that this dude is on a rookie contract, right? He's on. Is he on a rookie contract? 12th overall pick for the Lions. He's coming off his first 1,000 yard season. What would we move for him? And what does that contract look like? And of course, there's like 4 or 5 of these players that pop up every once in a while. And they're saying, what if the Panthers made a move? You know, what if we traded blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay. And? You know, what's his contract look like? First question. Second contract question is, does he have the stats? Third question. Is the team willing to let go of him? Fourth question. What are we willing to move for him? Is it relevant value? And fifth question. Are we willing to give up that type of value? These are the 5 Qs you have to start asking every time you see one of these articles. Every time. And you're going to see them every time during March and April. And I'm telling you, they come up and they show up in drones. Run through the 5 Qs, figure out what these guys' situations are, and then say yay or nay. You know, do your own homework. Use overthecap.com and do your own homework with this. Understand and learn about cap space. And use the time to Google this stuff for yourself. You know, not all of us have that kind of time to help teach you. You know, so you're going to have to learn some of this stuff yourself. Nothing wrong with that. You know, it takes 5 minutes. Look this stuff up. You have a phone, you have Google. Come on. This ain't rocket science. So, my whole thing is like, here's another one of these cases, you know, another wide receiver. So, let's do the homework, shall we? Over the cap. And I'm not interested in free agency. I want Detroit. Because Detroit is going to be able to tell us, you know, are they going to move on from this dude? They still have Teddy Bridgewater, by the way, who was the topic of discussion earlier today on Ox Channel. So far, he's not showing up on the re-signing list. So, let's find out. Facebook, yep. There it is. So this is Jameson Williams. There he is. What are we doing with? Let's take a look at that cap number. So you're dealing with 3 million, 3 million, 4 million, 5 million to finish up. So, this is a rookie contract for this gentleman here. That number is going to go up. the next contract he receives is going to go up. You're going to be looking at $6 to $7, $8 million even for this dude per year. Count on that being doubled. During the time he has been a rookie, he has put up the receiving yards. He's got over 1,000 yards last year. 7 touchdowns. And 1 rushing touchdown. In just 72% of the snaps. In 15 games. This dude hasn't even put a full season yet. And he's still putting up those types of numbers. Alright, so. That tells me, since he was drafted 12th, that's first round pick. Now we're going to go ahead and make an educated guess on what his value might be. Is it a second round? Is it a third rounder? Is it a fourth rounder? Where is he valued at? And knowing what I know about how they evaluate players and how they do that, I'm going to say mid-round third value, late round third. That's what we're doing with now. And that's challenging, man. You don't like seeing that, but there are a few circumstances where that makes sense. So that's my educated guess. Metcalf and Stephon Diggs have both been moved. T. Higgins got franchise tagged. So I think that with all of the crazy things going on with this draft, you have to consider there's a lot of possibilities for a lot of wackiness. And enter part of that wackiness right here. When you see stuff from Panthers Wire, from official sources like that, you know, here comes the craziness, man. And I gotta be honest, man, I did not see that coming. I'm more interested in, like, the defensive end from the Raiders, you know. I was hoping Max Crosby would end up there, available for us, but apparently not. You know, it is what it is. Okay, here's another suggestion. And at first I said, okay, 4th round pick, 114 overall for Mark Andrews. And then I saw Brady Christensen on this. And that's when I said, heck no. To the no. Come on, sing it with me. Heck no. To the no. We can't give up Brady Christensen, man. That would be criminal if we give up this dude, man. I'm trying to tell you. That's straight up. That's straight up thievery. If the Ravens get away with that, nah, bro. Nah. Y'all are crazy. But that just shows you how valuable Brady Christensen has become, though. If you see him in any of these, like, mock trades or whatever else, you know, from people like Beardar Gridiron and people like that, come on. That shows you what he's been able to do. And that's when I see, that 1 year extension from Brady Christensen, I said, let's go, man. Let's go. Because we just locked up the Swiss Army knife of this offensive line. That's exactly what we did. I could not be happier. And you know what? Look at the players we lost, man. Look at the players we lost. I'm trying to tell you right now. They ain't no downgraded tight end. What they talking about a downgraded tight end? Nah. Well, y'all crazy, man. Y'all crazy. Nah. How is that a downgraded corner too? I don't understand that one. Dane Jackson didn't do anything, bro. He didn't do anything. Y'all trying to say that's a downgrade. Man, please. Ian Thomas was a mid-grade tight end at best throughout the entire time he was here. Never broke his glass ceiling. So you're trying to sell me on the fact that this was a downgrade? Whoever created this chart. Shout out Carl, he's my moderator. He just reposted this. He found this and he reposted it. He didn't create this himself. No, he found this. Okay? He posts this foolishness from time to time and he's just like, man, look at this crap. And it's just comical sometimes, man. It really is. And I look at it like, no disrespect to Ian Thomas or Felipe Franks or any of these players, that we lost. No disrespect to them at all. But they are who they are. Okay? They are who they are as Panthers players. There's no getting around it. There's no dancing around it. You gotta call it what it is. Ian Thomas did nothing in 4 years. Nothing. Name one special play that really made a humongous difference that Ian Thomas made. Name one. That's what I'm talking about right there. Felipe Franks, same thing. Name one special play that turned the game around. Or turned the momentum around to where we really had an advantage. Is he one of those types of players? No. Neither one of them are. Same with Dane Jackson. Name one play. You can't. Bro, you can't. Because they don't exist. Miles Sanders, on the other hand, that's another matter. Miles Sanders, we were going to cut anyway. Let's be fair on that. Xavier Woods pissed me off a number of times. Because that dude would be out of position. He would just watch these guys walk into the end zone. It's like... You ever see your cat just like stare at people when they're doing something exciting? On those plays, that was Xavier Woods. He was just like... And never moved. Just stood there like a statue like... Huh? I'm like, bruh. What is Evero doing to your brain, bro? Because you never used to be like this in LA. You never used to play like that. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's why we are better off without Xavier Woods. Because if you had re-signed him, he would have been doing more of that. I guarantee it. Half the problem is Evero. The other half is him just being brain dead on certain plays. And we know he's a very, very intelligent player. But he just acts brain dead. And I'm like, bro, how? You are the last line of defense. You are a safety. You are supposed to prevent those touchdowns. And you just like casually just stare at him. Like a Siamese cat. And I'm like, bruh. That's what I'm saying, man. Show me a play where Xavier Woods has completely turned a game around. And has been a game changer. He has not. Jordan Fuller, same thing. Lonnie, same thing. Show me where these guys have been game changers. They haven't. So for anybody that wants to argue for anybody besides Miles Sanders, as far as being game changers, you're done for the day. Okay? You're done. You're done. Shut it down. You're done. Because there's no argument you can make that makes sense. Like, that's enough out of you. Oh, my God. But, yeah. No change at quarterback. No change at wide receiver. I agree. Upgrade at running back. Sure. If Brooks can get back from that ACL tear, then yes. Upgrade. The fact that they labeled tight end a downgrade is laughable. Offensive tackle, no change. Guard, no change. Good. Good. Those things should not change. We're good there. We upgraded a defensive tackle. We upgraded at edge. We upgraded a linebacker. We upgraded a safety in free agency. Yes. All four of those areas we did. I completely agree. As far as us downgrading in corner, debatable. Depends on if you want to make an argument for Dane Jackson or not. Personally, I don't. I don't want to have that discussion because it's a waste of time. But that's where we're at. We got Rico at running back. We got Warden at defensive tackle. We got Patrick Jones at edge rusher. We got Christian at linebacker. And we got Trevon Moehrig at safety. I mean, tell me how that's not an upgrade in those areas. Tell me how that's not an upgrade. Anyway, so end of the day, man, we know what we need going into the draft. We know what positions we're looking for. It's been plainly obvious. Now it's just dress rehearsal for the last 3 days. And for the last week before the draft, now it's just basically saying, okay, how can I use these said meetings as a trap for other teams? How can I use it as a false flag? You know, trick people. Well, you can do what you did with Excel and say, okay, X amount of meetings means maybe the team is really, really into you. But there are other times when that could be a false flag. We could be looking at somebody completely different, and we've only met with them 1 or 2 times. I've seen that happen. So I wouldn't necessarily say that that's part of the process, of, oh, well, the player now knows, that they're going to get drafted by X player, X team, whoever it may be. I wouldn't necessarily say that. No. There's several different outcomes. And we're about to run through the last of the mocks. Let's do it. As is customary. Dallas, come here. I want your 204. Done. Okay. Now let's play the odds. Let's see what happens. Okay, Walker's off the board. Graham is off the board. That means Abdul Carter should still be there. Now we're going to get phone calls. Falcons, no. Broncos, no. Moving all the way down to 68, no. This is why I'm telling you, you may get 1 or 2 offers when something like this happens, but the question is, how good are those offers, first of all? Secondly, how aggressively are you trying to make a move to trade? Third, do you wish to make a move with a team that will give you proper offers? And in those certain circumstances, you may have to push for those yourself and be the aggressor. Well, not force it, but yes, be the aggressor. This is where the draft is in your hands. Now, there are edge rushers here. Based on what I'm seeing, you don't want to dive too far down. Because if you dive too far down, the lower you go, the more that grade goes down. I'd be willing to once again move with Seattle. I want 74. $82, $92. $114 for the 137. And a 4th rounder for next year. These picks around and formatting them to where you want them to be. Can you work with these picks that are given to you? Sure. But the goal here is to gain something from these trades. Not just swap a pick. You know what I mean? Not just willy-nilly, oh, I feel like swapping this pick today. No. There's got to be a method for your madness. You got to gain something. Say in this instance, I'm trading down the 8 to 18. I'm gaining a 50. The 74 moved down to an 82. I'm gaining a 92. 114 down to a 137. I'm gaining a round 4 next year. See what I mean, guys? That's just all hypotheticals. Let's assume we have a choice between Carter and wide receiver. I'm looking at Higgins. I'm looking at Jack Beck. And we'll see how this goes. Now, I've heard it from reliable sources. There may be a run on wide receivers. If that is the case, Jack Beck is in danger. I'm getting taken before 57. Here's an interesting one. To 61, I pick up a 128. Nah. Jack Beck is the pick. That's not even a contest. Now, I'm going to pause it here at 66 because I may be wanting to make a trade with Seattle still. Yeah. I'm going to make that move. You could still make this move even after you drafted at 57. This is the gain. This is how some of the moves are made here. By being aggressive on moves like this. So, yes, I want to make that move. You don't immediately have to make that, at the number 8 pick. There goes Deion Walker. Okay. Okay. Broncos want me to move down 3 spots. I pick up a 4th, 122 pick, and a 7th round pick next year. Interesting value. That's proper value, but is that what we want? Not necessarily. Niners want me to move down to 113, pick up a 147, 227, and a round 3. Nope. 2 picks next year. Nope. Keep it moving. Do you understand why I'm making the move I am? At 82, you got no Williams. You got Ty Robinson, which in this case, I honestly, I might go Caldwell. 122. Gotta pick him at 111, otherwise we have no shot. Okay. We got our wide receiver, so we're good there. Still a little. Okay, so. So for me, it's between Cameron Williams. And not the 2 for $5 McDonald's meal. No. Charles Grant. Ty Robinson. Potentially Stutzman. I think. Oh boy. Charles Grant versus Cameron Williams. Which one would benefit us more? I'm going to say Cameron Williams based on the current situation. And then we'll just get Stutzman 92. Okay. Cameron Williams is the pick here. Someone's gone. Okay. Garbage, garbage, garbage. I'm going to take Stutzman there. There goes Bossa. Now, garbage offer. No Williams is here. Okay, we got our linebacker. We got all that. You could spring forward Malcolm Moore. I'm going to wait on Jalen Reed. I'm going to play the safe route. I'm going to go Noel. Fairchild's gone. Okay. Down to 141, we pick up a 178. Interesting. Down to a 145, we pick up a 162. Also interesting. I'm curious. Yes, Devin Neal is alive. I think this pick is an obvious Devin Neal pick here. Yes, we do need a defensive tackle. Caldwell is here. Safety. Malachi Moore is sitting there. And Miles Frazier is there. Now here's my thing. Eventually you're going to have to give up the luxury of getting both offensive linemen. So the goal here is to at least get one, and we did. Let's see. So, my apologies. So for me, it's going to be between Caldwell. Caldwell, Devin Neal. It was 137. We do have 3 picks in between. Is there a chance that Caldwell gets taken in there? Maybe. Maybe not. I'm willing to take that risk. I want Devin Neal. And he is still there. Mr. Caldwell, easy pick. Nah, Eagles. Nah. You had your opportunity, and you blew it. Okay, safety, tight end, guard. I think, given the circumstances, Jake Majors would be the best pick for guard. So, that just leaves tight end. They took my favorite tight end. So, we're going to have to improvise. for targeting Jake, he can sit. Safety. Yeah, this pick has to be Malachi. He was one of... First I was looking at is Jalen Reed. But we're getting down to that point where okay, it still hasn't hit Jake yet. So do we start testing out tight ends here? I think, oh boy, guard ain't something you want to play around with. 179 versus. Okay. Okay. 179 versus what? Take it for Don. I'll take the gamble that Jake Majors is still there. Waiting all these picks to be made. Okay, Jake. You're in. And that's that simple. We have fulfilled all our needs. Still waiting for the rest of the draft to be finished. Put me to sleep, man. it's finally done. Alright. I don't recall taking a guard at 18. Excuse me. Okay. I don't recall picking up Ursi. That's not... No. So again, Seattle pick trade was 874 and 114 for the 18, 50, 82, 92, and 137. Plus a fourth rounder for next year. So that's done. Okay. So they're showing us a few highlights there of him. Cool. I'm done with that. I'm done with that. Send that over to my team. Okie dokie. I'm willing to do one or two more, and then I gotta call it a night, man, because I'm exhausted, and I got some stuff to do tomorrow too. So let's get it done. Yeah. Dallas. Where's that 2? Where's that 204? There it is. 7th and 7th. Boom. Done. Let's start. Another situation where Walker is gone. I'll take Miguel. You know, we're still waiting on our pick. 57. And Becca's still there. Boom. Okay, 74. The coveted 74 pick. Now, Williams. Yep, I'm going for Caldwell. Okay, so. Let's see. I think Noah Williams is in play here. I think Stutzman might be in play here too. Wyatt is an option. Then you got Devin Neal sitting down here. Hey, that's an obvious pick. No Williams. This is if you make 0 moves. There we go. Waiting on my pick. 174. Nope. 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 And nope. Ooh, Charles Grant is in play. I'll take Stutzman. Now. This is going to be a... Ooh, Devin Neal. What do we not cover? What did we not get? Defensive tackle, right? Yeah. Caldwell or Devin Neal. It really comes down to this. We're going to have Caldwell. I understand the temptation of Devin Neal, but we can't do it. You know what I'm saying? I completely understand. If he somehow survives, yeah, sure. 140, yeah. None of those trades look good. You do a tackle. Guard. We can sit on Jake Majors for another 6 picks. Yeah. Tell me about safety. Yep, 163. Devin Neal's the pick. I mean, that's just obvious at this point. Nope. Nope. No. So we're still looking for a guard. We're still looking for a tackle. My honest opinion, Jake Majors. At 163. Tackle. Well, this one's obvious. Malachi Moore. No, no, no. Definitely not. Alright, tackle position. Or guard. Guard, excuse me, guard. Okay, Gas in second. That's who I want. At tight end. Yeah. Okay, so just counting down the picks until it's mine again. Alright. Around 6 with that. Nah. Offensive tackle, okay. Alright, so we need a tackle and a guard. Let's take a look at the guards. Jake Majors. And that shall wrap up this mock. Honestly, I think I'm good for one more mock. There we go. It's done. Edge rusher, wide receiver, corner, linebacker, defensive tackle, running back, safety, tight end, guard. All in one beautiful package. There you go. That's even without having to trade. And also, these guys are all awesome. Alright. There's that one. Alright. Do we want to run one more? One final legitimate mock. I think so. Let's do it. One more. Let's go to it again. Dallas. For the 204, I want move both sevens. Boom. Done. Puts this in the 6th round. Now, go from there. What do we got? Walker is off the board. Graham is off the board. That's all the Bengals are giving me is just a round 4 next year? Oh, no. Cincinnati. No, we're not playing that game today. Absolutely not. Nope. Nope. Trash offers. I want a Bill Carter. So we're going to wait a second for our pick. Dang it. It took my wide receiver. Alright. If y'all want to do that, I'm going to take the other TCU wide receiver. Okay. 74. What are we doing with 74? Let's see. Wyatt is still there. Consistently. Hmm. With Wyatt in play here, it's going to be Wyatt or Stutzman. Ooh. Nope. 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 Deon Walker. Deon Walker. You don't get many chances at Deon Walker. Take it. That's a once in a lifetime right there. I'm going to take Kobe Bryant at corner, man. That's what I'm going to do. Yeah, this one's obvious. It's got to be Stutzman. Nope. Nope. Lee. I'm going to explore Logan Brown here at 140. It's either Logan Brown or it's Kobe Bryant. I'm gonna take Bryant. $140 for a fourth and a fifth. Nope. 161 and 164. Tempting. Incredibly tempting. Still got safety position here. 140. Devin Neal is too hard to pass up on. I gotta take him. That's just too hard, man. Nah. Fairchild's here. Oh boy. Is Slater? I don't know. I feel like I could sit on Logan for a minute. I'll go Fairchild here. Tough call. Because you are risking it here. Yeah, Gaston's gone. Okay, Caldwell's gone. Understandable. Jalen Reed. Logan Brown. They are making a run on tackles, aren't they? This is a really tough call. Well, we do have Jack down here, so maybe I'll go Jalen Reed. I only have one pick left. So it has to be an offensive tackle or a tight end. I think if Logan went off the board, this might have to be a tight end. For me, it has to be Luke Lackey. And that's A's all the way down the board except for Savion Williams, Deion Walker. Yeah. I'm happy with it. That's a solid one to finish out, man. That's a really solid one. Boom and boom. It is done. So we got Abdul Carter, we got Savion Williams, we got Darren Walker, Stutzman, Kobe Bryant at corner, Devin Neal at running back, Fairchild at guard, safety is Jalen Reed, and Luke Lackey at tight end. I mean, to me, I'm satisfied with that. How about you guys? That looks good to me. Share that with the team chat. Let's do one last one. Now, for this one, again, we're going to be making that move with Seattle. But as we do so, I want to show you potential trade of a Bengals move as well. So let's talk with Cincinnati. Down to 17. I want your 49. I'll move that down to an 81. But see, here's the deal. You don't get that extra pick here that you normally would before 100. This is why Seattle gives us a tactical advantage. So, 114, 153. See, we're not getting that tactical advantage. So, Seattle. Let's take the 8th pick out of it. Only interested in moving that. Well, we'll go am with it. Let's try it one more time. Seattle. I want to make sure we get this right. Give me the 89, the 92. Give me that for that. And a 4th. There you go. There's your trade. Let's get started. Walker is gone. Obvious trade scenario. Anyway. James Pierce is gone. Alright. That's a lot of picks. Goodness, Buffalo. I wouldn't even know what to do with all those picks, man. to be honest with you. Let's go with what do we have at edge? We have Donovan. Donovan is still there. Let's see. Defensive end. I'll tell you what. I'll take Mike Reed. I think it's the right move. Given the circumstances. Tempting, Philly. Very tempting. Okay, so you do have the option of Wyatt. You do have the option of going Dale Walker here, which I think is a good move down here at 92. You just don't want to jump on it too early. No Williams are going to pick up at 82. So yeah, I think this pick has to belong to Wyatt. I just don't see any other way that can go. Okay, 82. Now, done well so far. I think no Williams. There goes Devin Neal. There goes our temptation. Good. I wanted him off the board anyway. 190, 202, yeah. 158, 214 in round 3, nah. Okay. Oh, Bassa. Bosses, wow, that's a reach? What? That's not a reach. What kind of garbage is that? That's not a reach. I call bullcrap game. 147, 7th rounder, nah. 7th rounder, nah. Nope. They forced my hand on the linebacker, I think. I feel like, anyway. Fairchild. Is Dylan Walker going to sit there at 137? Come on. Come on. Come on. Sit there. Yes. He's still there. It is my lucky day. We're around 5. I'll think about it, Chicago. We are gunning for 8 spots, huh? Alright. Bet. Tight end Gadsden. I feel like Gadsden will sit. Trevor Etienne might not. I'm going to take Trevor. Nope. 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 Let's see. I like Jalen Reed here. Jaden Reed. Mr. Reed. And then Gaston. Be my next pick. 63. No, I'm not coming off that. And that will lead us to 204. So, 6th round, 204 BPA. We've covered everything else. Is there any position here that we don't feel like we have covered well enough? Happy with it, happy with it, happy with it. Yep. No. No. Dowager. Maybe. Okay. Let's see. Jay Higgins. I think Jared Smith here. Because we got to have a nickel corner to help out. You could double that up. You could double up defensive tackle. You could double up linebacker. point remains. We gotta have that nickel corner. Alright, so that wraps up the final mock draft of 2025, ladies and gentlemen, on stream. So, once again, that Seattle trade is pick 8 down to 18. We pick up a 50. Pick 74 down to 82. We pick up a 92. Pick 114 down to 137. We pick up a 4th for next year. We have hit on Mike Green, Jack Beck, Wyatt Millum, Noel Williams, Bossa, Fairchild, Dylan Walker, Trevor Etienne, Jalen Reed, Gaston II, and Jalen Smith for this mock. That is every position of need. Once again, stop telling me it cannot be done. That you can't fill these holes. Stop telling me it's not possible, guys. But I know it is. Okay, so I'm getting tired, and we've been streaming for 2.5 hours of good content. We've got gaming content coming up in May and June, and most of July. So make sure you hit the bell icon for that. Also, I want to officially announce on stream what our draft schedule is going to look like for everybody on stream. Here we go. The NFL schedule time is 8 o'clock. We will be starting that stream at 7 p.m. officially. Now, that could look like 7:30. It could look like 7:45. It could vary. I'm trying to make sure that I'm on time. You know what I'm saying? You know, to start the reaction officially. You know, we'll have about 15-minute discussion time. What's going to happen round 1. You know, and we'll go from there. Rounds 2 through 3, Friday. They start at 7. We're going to be starting at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's probably going to look like 6:30. We'll see. Saturday. 11 a.m. start time. For us, they start at noon. So make sure you're here. Make sure you're on board. That's going to be a very, very busy day. It's going to get chaotic. There's going to be a lot of information going on day 3. So, I need y'all to keep up, alright? As best you can. So, that being said, I I want to officially say it's been a pleasure doing these mock streams with you guys. Let's get ready for the draft. As they say in boxing, let's get ready to rumble with a 3-day NFL draft. And ladies and gentlemen, we are almost there. Can you believe it? That's crazy, man. That's wild. But yeah, we are almost there. And for the Audio Sports app, keep pounding Fantasy Football League. If you want to get your hands on an intro like the one you see on your screen if you're a content creator, make sure you check out Lindara Ty on Instagram using her last name first, Ty, T-A-I, .Lindara, Lindara, Lindara. Around awesome and sweet to work with. So, if you're a content creator, please consider doing so. She's looking for new clients. That will do it for me for tonight. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Make sure you tell all your friends, share the stream. We're going live for the draft weekend starting on Thursday. Make sure you're there. Do not miss this, ladies and gentlemen. Do not miss it. That's like the pay-per-view event of the year, man, for us. If you're a wrestling fan. You don't want to miss this. This is circus stuff here, man. We go hard on draft weekend. So, I'm ready. You guys ready? Let's do this, man. Let's do this. Alrighty. Shout out to everybody checking out the chat, checking out the stream, and not talking, but just lurking. That's fine. I love people that work. I lurk myself on other people's streams. It's all good. But yeah, if you enjoyed what you see, please do consider hitting that bell. There's so much more content to go. And it's not even just football. It's music related. It's gaming related. We do game streams too. So, we're not a one-trick pony here. So, but the primary function is the Panthers, obviously. So, keeping that in mind, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you stay happy, healthy, and well. And as always, you already know what to do. Keep pounding. We locked in, baby. See you guys in the next stream. Peace.